Welcome back to a new season of Used to Sew, a podcast about sewing machines, sewing history, and sewing culture in the past and present. I am your producer and co-host, Aradia, daughter of your main host, T.R. Kelly, who is here today to talk to you about sewing machine therapy, or rather, how we have each been using sewing machines to recover from the disturbance of traveling to see family at a graveside. This episode is a collection of topics that feel relevant as we come back to Oregon from Iowa, and is the start of a new season of the show because that just felt like a nice place to take a beat to me as a producer. After talking about how I am using my sewing room to recover from our trip to Iowa, TR tells me a story of being a sewing machine fairy at a thrift store, about a cool sewing machine service shop in Washington State, and about processing a challenging repair job for a friend. It's a bit of a grab bag, but there's also a clear theme. Recognizing salvageable machines for what they are is a valuable skill.
Yeah, hey there, sewing fans. We had a few weeks off of live recording because we had to make a pilgrimage to the family burial grounds. You've all heard about that. What a trip, right, Rain?
Ooh, I'm glad we went, and I'm glad it's over.
Yes, there we go. It's been, we've been back a week, and I'm still not back. Are you back?
No. I took the whole rest of the week off after the trip. I had cleared my work schedule, canceled all my Zoom calls. I still didn't feel fully landed by the time that the weekend rolled around. I feel like maybe I finally have arrived back now, maybe. Possibly. Yeah, traveling is... I was told once in middle school by a friend who was Alaska Native that your soul travels roughly walking speed.
Yes.
And so traveling by car or by plane over a long distance, across half the country, that lag that you feel is not just the physical strain of travel. It's like your soul is doing its darndest to catch up. You left it behind and it's running come on, I'm coming.
I totally grok that.
And I have found that I do think that the soul runs faster than my physical meat body, but there is definitely a lot of lag. And going down to California to visit family is a shorter lag than going out to Iowa. There's something going on there that I have found that way of looking at it to be very helpful. And yeah, I feel like my soul is mostly caught up at this point. I might still have a couple of toes left in Idaho somewhere, but we're getting here.
Oh, man. You spent time in the sewing room trying to help yourself get back, you told me?
Yeah, I was maybe don't be on the computer the whole time that you're back. Because I'm a doom scroller anyway, and I had cleared my schedule of work and other obligations. So I was I will literally spend all day on the couch doom scrolling, and that's not going to help me get back because I feel like your soul gets back at a tenth the pace when you're just stuck in a computer. So I went with the let's be embodied, let's be in our literal body that the soul is trying to catch up with.
Yes.
And hand-eye coordination, tactile input, making something, literally creating something. So I went into my sewing room and attempted to finish projects, clean stuff up. I ended up doing a whole bunch of closet reorganizing, which spilled over into getting an old box of stuff out of my bedroom closet and cleaning the bedroom closet out and reorganizing a bunch of stuff in there. And yeah, I got some basic clothing repairs done.
Nice.
Nothing really big. I didn't make anything big, but I just cleaned, tidied, made some repairs on some garments. And then a lot of what I did was disarticulating clothing that I've set aside to turn into materials.
Good word. Ooh, disarticulating.
It's a good word. I like the word articulating. So disarticulating is with extra sprinkles. But pairs of pants that we've set aside because they don't fit and I want them for the materials. And I just had them folded up as pairs of pants. And I was why do I have these? What's the point? So I put a couple of hours into just systematically cutting them apart and putting them into their constituent parts piles.
Yeah.
So that way I'm not confused.
Yeah.
I have nice sheets of jeans denim ready to go. I don't have to cut it off of the pants. I don't have to think about, these pants could be used for this, that, and the other. No. They are cut apart. They are now folded up neatly. So I didn't get anything grand done, but I also got a lot of stuck energy moved.
Yes, you advanced the project.
And I was using all my machines.
Ooh.
I used Kenny a whole bunch. I used the serger quite a bit. I had to wind multiple bobbins on Exuberant because I was using up all kinds of odds and ends of like little bits of thread that like didn't necessarily last very long. Oh, and I was sewing a lot of structural like stretch seams on Kenny. So it's using, 3 times the thread. So I was just burning through thread. Yeah. So I needed Exuberant repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then what was it that I was sewing? I can't even remember now. But there was one thing that was so big and chunky that I busted out Dave.
Yay, I was waiting. Did Dave get to go? Did Dave play?
Oh, I was quilting. Yeah, no, what it was I was quilting something. So this is a long digression into a random project. This is one thing I did make. So a long time ago, my husband and I, we upgraded from a queen bed to a king bed. So we still have a bunch of queen sheets. Right?
Yeah.
And some of them were pretty old. But the top sheet is really good.
It's good, yeah.
For, camping or whatever, put it around the air mattress and then whatever.
Right.
So the bottom sheet was super torn up and ridiculous, but the top sheet was fine. So my husband, dingbat that he is, would just use the shredded old sheet as like a wrapper for the good sheet and would just bring this random bundle of fabric for our camping stuff. And it annoyed the crap out of me. So I cut the elastic off of that bottom sheet and cut where all of the bad parts of the fabric were out until I had relatively square pieces and just started folding the thing together and made a bag. I made a lined drawstring bag out of the old sheet that we can now put the good sheet into.
Oh, God, your efficiency is killing me.
And because I was, kind of just kind of stimming on this.
Right.
I wasn't really about making the bag. It was about me needing to create something with my hands.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to get rid of any of the fabric. I had all these like weird odds and ends of the worn out fabric.
Oh.
And I'm like, but it still has some material value, you know?
Right.
Like a lot of the fluff is out, but the weft fabric is still there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I just started folding it together until I had like not quite a dining mat size thing, and I kind of quilted it together, and that was what I used Dave on, because it was like umpteen layers of ratty shredded fabric that like first I made a pocket, and then I just like carefully folded up and stuffed all the scraps into it, and then I used Dave to just
that's beautiful
sandwich the whole thing together, and then I put that in the bottom of the bag. So I'm like, okay, not only is this bag layered on both, like it's inner and outer layer.
Right.
It's also got this very thick pad on the bottom. So again, thinking about camping. Like if you just like drop this on the ground while setting up the tent, it's not going to instantly absorb dew from the grass.
Very
like
good.
It's got this thick pad, so it's not going to get muddy and damp. And was it excessive? Probably. But did it make me very happy to waste almost no material whatsoever to make this thing that I've been wanting for a long time and also just occupying my hand and brain for like 4 hours?
Perfect.
It was therapy.
Oh my God. What do you mean excessive? You just said, okay, you used something that was worthless and made a new thing. You used your body instead of doom scrolling to create a thing. I mean, this Scots-Irish Viking hybrid judge gives it a 10, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, that's how I've been getting back.
Oh, dang. That just made me calm listening to you talk about it. I got home. We're getting ready to pack up and move back over to Eastern Oregon for 6 weeks, I think, 5 weeks. Anyway, so that involves, I live in an RV, a trailer, a caravan, whatever you want to call it. It's got wheels, and that's time to move. So that means I have to put away all my projects, all my sewing machines, all my little bits and bobs that are going to go flying off the shelves. So all my stuff's put away because I used to be late for everything, and now I'm hyper early. I can't get this all quite worked out.
The overcorrection. It is a problem.
I haven't been doom scrolling. Actually, just the opposite. I've been surfing my favorite thing of all, which is maps.
Ooh, maps pretty.
And Google Earth and various Landsat photography things. Because as our listeners know, we're sort of geology nerds here at Used to Sew. Foundational bedrock is sewing. Yeah, we can squish it together so many ways. Anyway, my brother now has Starlink up here. And with that amount of fast electrons whizzing through the air. I can Google Earth until my eyes Google out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Excellent.
So since we flew on a plane, I took a little sewing project with me, but I was so enraptured with looking out the window, I never got to it. I never even thought of it. Because if you're into earth science, having a chance to see things from 40,000 feet is all different than Google Earth. It really is truly three-dimensional. You can see what's happening right now. So that's how I was digesting the trip, was by overflying it again in Google Earth and corroborating a lot of the landforms and things that I had seen. It was amazing. You can see, I mean, some math student could figure this out for me, but on a clear day, I could see at least 300 miles from up there based on landforms that I know. So yeah, aside from that pesky air sickness, I love flying and I can't wait to do it again. Really and truly. One thing we didn't get to do because our week back there was so full of socializing and funerals and restaurants and thunderstorms and tornado warnings. Yeah, all those good Midwest things. We didn't get a chance to go look at anything historical, but since getting together with the huge family, we've decided, hey, that was fun. Let's do it again. So I could see making another trip back there in a couple years and definitely get a chance to go to the various Mormon museums, which are really interesting because their whole movement thing was pre-sewing machine. You know, would they have taken sewing machines in the handcarts if they had been invented? I think so, because sewing machines are useful.
What I know of modern Mormons, yeah.
So, yeah, just in the general red brick history oozing out of that whole area. So we didn't get a chance to see any sewing machines. I didn't anyway this trip. So after I had been home for a day, one of the other things that I like to do to get back into my body is go thrifting. Because then my brain gets to look at and categorize and sort while I'm touching and smelling. And, you know, thrifting for me is really tactile, you know, like fabrics for one thing.
Retail shopping, but like the affordable kind.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for clothes that fit. I'm looking for interesting fabrics that I can disarticulate, right? No, disassemble.
Yes, disassemble.
You know, things with interesting buttons, especially in the distressed bins. A lot of times, you know, the fabrics, whatever. But there's a place that sells clothing by the pound where they put all that stuff that gets one last chance. It's like, no, this stuff isn't wearable, but a lot of us fabric nerds go in there to just buy fabric, buttons, fasteners, whatever. So there I am at the local St. Vinny's. First thing I have to do is go look at the sewing machine potential thrift section, right? There's a place where they put them. Oh, there's 4. What are they? Da-da-da. Okay, we have a Singer, quote, heavy duty, quote, mileage may vary, still in its box. Still in the box. So this is a sewing machine that comes in a box. There is no Singer store anymore. You go into your local Omatic Mart and there's some sewing machines in a box and you buy one. So this was still in the box if they wanted $80 for it. Well, I think for a brand new anything sewing machine in a box, you're going to get 2 to 5 years of good use out of it. Was that worth $80? You're looking for a sewing machine? Sure. If I was looking for a sewing machine to give somebody, that would have been, it's new. It's not worn out yet. Right next to it is a Viking that looked like it's from the early 80s, which is square and garishly colored, like Volvos from that same time, sort of pea green and orange and avocado. It's like, ugh.
Ah, the 80s. As an aesthetic period, not my favorite.
No, not really. And all the clothes were fuchsia with shoulder pads.
Okay, you had me for the first half, though. I do like fuchsia.
You like fuchsia. You know why? Because you were born in 90 and there was still fuchsia around.
Fair.
You loved that color. Anyway, so I looked at this Viking, and I'm not a fan of Vikings, but they wanted $90 for that one, and the foot control was there, but no case or anything. I grabbed the hand wheel to see if everything moved. It did, because this is from the age of nylon gears. Next to that was some really cool chromed out Japanese thing, but it didn't have any kind of a case or base or cords or anything. So it's like, okay, if I collected those and that was my, oh my God, I need that. They had that for $30. Okay, cool. But next to that was a Singer 348. It's one of those Style-O-Matics. I think. It's the bright blue one, right? It actually caught my eye first, but I made myself wait and look at the other ones before I could glory in the aqua blue goodness. But does it work? Grabbed the hand wheel and I turned it and I opened the slide plate, which is a Class 66 drop-in bobbin in the front. Very easy to operate. Yes, things are moving with no slop. Okay, the gears are good. I turn it through because a lot of times the first thing, it'll move, but you'll feel a cyclical click or something that, that's the first sign that the gear's cracked. It hasn't come apart yet. But this was good. All right. The foot control's blue. The cords are blue. The plastic on the top has turned sort of bile green because age and sunlight.
Sure.
But straight, zigzag, cute little machine. They wanted $60 for it. I never pay that much for anything not in a cabinet. Well, except for that Bernina that I bought there. But anyway, also another great little sewing machine that would be great for somebody if they were looking for a used machine. Now, I don't know how the tension was set, but everything was mechanically there. The electrical cords looked good. Yeah, give it a shot. But I didn't buy any sewing machines, but I stopped somebody from buying the fifth machine. That's why I didn't see it right away, because it was already in somebody's cart. And I went up to them and I was feeling very sociable, which for a shy cat like me is, not so good. I said, "Hey, nice little sewing machine you got there. I used to work for Singer. Can I check something out for you before you take it out of the store?" And St. Vinny's does take returns, but you don't want to get this thing all the way home. And I handed her my card. I happened to have a card, so she knew I was legit.
Nice.
And I go, "This is a nice little machine." It was a Singer 457. It's a tan machine. It's flatbed. It's in that Style-O-Matic series. And I think I've even mentioned this one a few times. It was very popular in the late 70s. I think schools might have even had them. Anyway, I grabbed the hand wheel. I opened the slide plate. I turn the hand wheel and nothing's moving underneath. I make sure that we're clutched, right? Because things won't move underneath if the clutch is not. I clutched it. I turned the hand wheel. I said, "Do you see what's..." And we pulled out of the line at this point because she was in the checkout line.
Oh, wow. Really last minute save.
Yeah. So there was like 3 people ahead of her. And so I took the machine out and set it on a table. And I said, "See this? What's happening in here? This because there's a gear broken in the top here. This was a great machine, but that's a problem. If you're mechanically inclined, you can get that for about $25, the whole set, and replace it." And she's looking at me like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
So she said, "This won't work?" I said, "Not as it is. It needs gear replacement." I said, "But that little blue one back there, that one I checked and it's good." She goes, "Thank you so much." So she went back and got the blue one.
Just swapped out the broken.
Yes,
because you had already gone through what would each of these be and how would it work. And this immediately you see someone who needs that information. Holy crap.
So then I told the manager there, I said, "Don't put this one back out. It's got a problem." "Oh, well, thank you so much. I've seen you in here before." I go, "I come in here a lot." It was good. It was a save. It was a save for the blue one, and it was a save for customers being frustrated with vintage machines. We don't want you to buy a broken one and get soured on the whole thing, right?
Wow. Hitting it out of the park.
And you know what? That really helped me, quote, get back from the trip, because I was channeling information I know. I was helping somebody out, right? It got me out of my own head back into something that I know and love, and making a human connection with 2 people, the store manager and this other customer. So when I got home from that, I wasn't missing my own machine quite so much. I was looking at it packed up under the bed. My Chaos 9 patch quilt that I'm still working on. pro tip here, when you're sewing something that has an exact seam allowance and you're using 2 or 3 different machines, make sure that seam allowance. I'm having to pick apart a bunch of blocks here because, oops, the 319 and the VS3, even put a little, say, wait, did I use this as a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 of an inch? I'm watching something and cranking away. Oops. No. So we'll be ripping before we sew, but hopefully we'll be sewing sometime this week after. Let's see, we get to the cabin and we're going to put the roof on. We're going to put insulation in. We might even get to sheetrock. But I can set up my sewing machine outside if I have to because it doesn't rain over there hardly ever. But speaking of salvage and sewing machines, and because that's probably where that little 457 is going to wind up, is recycling. Because it still did have a metal, I'm not sure it was aluminum or steel. I think that was an aluminum body on that. I'm not sure. I lost track. The top was plastic. Anyhow, I'll drink some tea here. And then we're going to talk about something really cool I found online today, and then a rabbit hole off of that. Yeah. So this morning I woke up, pour the caffeine, light the smoke, open the computer. Has anything great happened overnight, or any of my friends post anything fun? It's like, okay. Because, back in the old days, the newspaper was how I started my morning, Newspaper, flicking the pages and trying not to get eggs all over the story that you're trying to read. So this is somewhat neater. One of the sewing machine pages I follow, which is Skagit Sewing Machine Salvage and Service. I just love that name. That's so realistic.
Salvage and service.
Salvage. Oh, that's like, no, disassemble, no, disarticulate. And the first picture, I went on his page just to check him out here. I mean, I follow him anyway, but yesterday's post is a cookie sheet with disarticulated 1591 parts all over it. And they're all grungy and rusty and nasty. And the post was, oh, delicious salvage. I can just see the vulture. I may pick more off of this 15. That's vulture. But it's pretty bad, and I don't think I need most of this stuff. Okay. This guy's pretty. So I went and I've looked up his whole deal. He seems like a young guy. And kind of the Wild West. He's not the guy you're going to take your precious little featherweight to get repainted. No, this guy's rescuing stuff out of dumpsters.
Nice.
So his Skagit Sewing Machine Salvage and Service on Facebook says, this is his little bio thing. I love working on these old machines and bringing them back from the brink for the next generation. Don't let the corporations own you or your sewing. Be free, buy vintage.
Hell yes.
We love this guy. So I wrote, I didn't get a chance to hear back from him before we recorded today, but I said, dude, we love you. I'm going to talk about you on the podcast today. Be ready. So where is he at? Where is Skagit Sewing Machine Salvage and Service? First of all, that's Skagit, not Skagit. It's in Washington State, up by the Canadian border, kind of in the Bellingham vicinity. Mount Vernon, Washington, United States. They had some big floods earlier this year because the Skagit River got all spicy. But I hope this guy's shop is above flood level. But this is why I really want to talk about him, because this popped up on my feed this morning. This is my next big salvage project. He's salvaging. He's not restoring or repairing. He's taking something that's junk and he's salvaging it. And if he can't salvage, now I'm just reading. This is not him talking. This is me. I mean, salvage is you either fix it. You're the last stop before the big electromagnet in the sky that carts you off to be melted down into baker's racks for the local choke and puke. You know what I'm saying? So here he goes. This is my next big salvage project. I have a completely frozen Singer 1591 that is pretty roached. I can tell he's a young guy. And I'm going to salvage enough parts off of it to fix another and have parts left over for future projects. I love this part. Both machines are really rough, and I cannot save them all. Save the nicer ones and recycle the rest. Remember that millions were made annually, and there's always another that needs rescuing. The donor is in 1936, made in Canada. The recipient is in 1938, made in New Jersey. You got pictures of two really bad-looking machines here. And that was the pan of parts that was in the next thing. But he really says what we've told you guys a whole lot. You can't save them all. Save the nicer ones, recycle the rest. Millions were made, and there's always another that needs rescuing. Use your time wisely, like we talked about in the collecting machines wisely thing. Just don't go buy anything that looks like a sewing machine because you've got the fever. Okay, so Skagit Sewing Machine Salvage and Service. Thank you for your service. We're going to be in touch. We want to talk to you. We want to ask you all the questions. I told him I was legit because I knew that Skagit rhymed with legit, and I grew up in Squim, so I know how to say Washington state names.
I'm legit because I know it rhymes with legit.
You know what I'm saying.
Fantastic.
Because if somebody just contacts you and says, "Ooh, I want you to be on my podcast," you're going to go, "What kind of a scam is this? Do I have to pay money?" You know, you just... Okay, so who is this? Is this a bot? No. I went to school in Squim, damn it.
I have received a lot of scammy, or not even scammy, but just bot-generated approaches to multiple podcasts
Yes.
that I run because I am a podcast producer. Autistic Stuff for Autistic People gets barraged more than all the others combined with, hey, I think that this and that person would be a great fit for you. And it's clearly just, AI.
Absolutely.
Word scraping stuff. But
yeah,
it's... definitely how to sound legit in a world full of, that is like, make it weird. Make it weird because a computer will never be weird like you can be weird.
No. And I had to hip a friend of mine back over to my other, we have geology, we have sewing machines, and we have TR used to be a rock star. A friend of mine who's a wannabe rock star. Oh, I got this email from... ABC will make you a star corporation. And I read the email, and it's obviously boilerplate stuff. I said, write him back and ask him to quote the lyrics that moved them so deeply. And of course, they get no response. Because you hear what you want to hear,
Yeah, exactly. I can tell that my very well-written podcast descriptions are being used in your Mad Libs template quite effectively. That doesn't mean that I believe you.
Oh, that's a burn. That's a burn. So when I contact people, I try to put something absolutely off the wall in there so they'll know, yeah, that sounds like TR.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure.
Today's episode is just a lot of stories and thoughts about things because, like I said, we're still getting back. But I want to tell you another, really. This one does... I'm not sure if it's a happy ending. I hope so. Okay, so 3 years ago, and I am ashamed to say that, I went to my friend's house and said, I can fix that machine for you. She had a machine. Hey, can you come look at it? I went to look at it. Oh, my God. This is the same model that Ma Ingalls is purported to have owned.
Okay.
The machine brand is Household. It's from 1885. I checked that with the timeline and some other deep dive Little House on the Prairie stuff. Anyway, this machine is that old. The stand at some point the ironwork has been broken and sort of put back together with oak boards and baling wire. So it's very shaky. If you try to treadle this thing, the whole thing kind of parallelograms a bit.
Okay, that's not great.
It's a coffin top, right? So there's the wooden box that fits over the top, and it's beautiful. The glue has failed, but it could be glued back together. Let me mention that my friend is a collector, and her house is very crowded, let's put it that way. And not a collector of sewing machines, just a collector.
Gotcha.
And she feeds homeless dogs and cats and humans, and everybody in the neighborhood loves her. She grows edible landscaping for people to take for free. And she's a mover of free energy. She does what we do. Like, she'll, take donations of stuff and then pass it out to people who need it and stuff like that. So that's a good reason to collect things, right? Well, somebody gave her this sewing machine, and she was just, oh, it's so beautiful. And it is. It's all the neat little nickel knobs on the front. And the machine itself, it's a fiddle bed. So it's got the whole curvy base.
Oh, yeah. God, the Arrow and machines were classy.
Oh, it doesn't have any decals. They weren't worn off. It just didn't have any. But it had some really cool embossed nickel pieces that were on it.
Okay. Elegant simplicity. Love it.
Oh, yeah. It's a long shuttle, of course. 1885. Round bobbin hasn't happened yet, I don't think. And there's a shuttle. There's a bobbin in the shuttle. There's even a needle. It uses the long 20x1 treadle needle that are still available. They're not the same as the Davis. This is another kind. There's no belt. Well, that's okay, because I brought one with me. Anytime I'm going to go look at a treadle, I bring a belt, and I bring my belt pliers, because that's just what it is. So I put a new belt on. The old one was in the drawer, and it was like crumbly, how leather gets, just crumbly. So, all right, new belt. Backstory, why am I here? Vivian saved my life. She's a nurse, and I had a heat stroke thing at a major concert, and she was part of the doctor crew there. So anyway, that's how we got in contact with her. So I'm not charging her anything to look at this machine. I'm feeling this is a good energy exchange. But how do you wind a bobbin? This is a really strange looking bobbin winder. It's not lining up with anything. Is there pieces missing? Oh my God, and look at this shuttle. The thread has cut deep grooves into the body of the shuttle and the spring. This is what's in the old books called being thread cut. And after enough use, that happens.
Wow. Okay. So that's just a sign of it being a very well-used bobbin.
Well-used bobbin. The shuttle. It's the actual little bullet thing.
Shuttle.
Yeah.
The shuttle.
Right.
But that's heavy wear and tear. This is not a machine that sat in a corner for 50 years. This thing was working.
No. This machine was worn out. The shuttle carrier was adjusted out as far as it could go and still wasn't making contact with the race. The race was that worn.
Wow.
But I didn't quite see all that. I saw Vivian's love of this thing. I saw she's, for those of you in the know, she used to follow the Grateful Dead around the country and do doctor stuff, so she's a giving, caring old hippie who lives down in the funky part of town. So I really want to get this going. I see what I want to see, right? Just like,
sure.
Oh, we see what we want to see, even if it's not the absolute truth. So I saw that I could fix this. 3 years went by. I couldn't find a replacement shuttle. And I tapped all my sources online. And I could not. Because that shuttle's not going to work. It's just not. Broken. Literally worn out.
It's literally worn out.
So it's like an old 1920s car where the pistons are worn out. If you can find the replacement parts, but in this case, there just aren't any, not that I can find. Not to mention the stand, and I thought, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. And wait a minute, TR, you're talking a massive restoration here. You're talking a lot of hours and you're talking a lot of money because you're going to have to, if you can source these things. And what about that bobbin winder? Well, there were so many blockades in the path that I was a bad tech and I just dropped it. And Vivian has so many other projects. She does embroidery, she does crafts. Her health is poor. She has a lot of stuff on her plate. And this just didn't come. Once in a while, hey, I'm still looking for parts, blah, blah, blah. Finally, it's like, no, this has been hanging over my head too long. I went to her house. I said, Vivian, I cannot fix this. I can't fix this. Well, maybe. I said, here's all the parts that I took home with me. If you know somebody else that you think can do it, here's all the parts. But I cannot fix this sewing machine. What I can do is get you a nice, old, easy-to-use Singer 66 treadle. Oh, I don't have any. For free. For free. Because I can find them for free. And she's just blinking at me behind the thick glasses. Free is not something people, Yeah, for free. Well, what am I going to do? Well, then she wants to take this broken one. She can't throw things away. She just can't get rid of stuff. Somebody gave it to her and it could be good. I know some of you fall into this category, especially with your sewing machines. Refer to the Collect Machines Wisely episode for a refresher. Or the wise words of Skagit Sewing Machine Salvage and Service. I cannot save them all. Save the nicer ones and recycle the rest. millions were made annually, and there's always another that needs rescuing. So I'm going to rescue an easy to use, easy to find parts for Singer 66. I even found an instruction manual for the household, though. I did. I found an instruction manual online. I printed it out. I saw what was the bobbin was supposed to do. The bobbin winder was not like the one in the picture. Somebody else had messed with this before I ever got to it. It's all I can think of. So, sadly enough, she wants to put that upstairs, take the machine out of it, and put she's got a modern Janome and a serger that she's sewing on upstairs, but they're on a computer desk that's just wildly inappropriate and not big enough. So I see sometime this summer me going back to Vivian's house and moving a whole lot of house plants and record albums and things to try to make this happen. So that was a semi-fail, but not really. It was me saying, yeah, I can't fix this. I just can't.
Well, but you tried, I mean, that's the thing is that like there was the potential that it could be good. And then you went and threw your all at it. And the answer comes back, no, it's not good. It could have been good, but we have now exhausted. Like we've literally done the research, done the looking around, and this is not one. This is one that needs to be. And this is something I was thinking about while you were talking to me about the salvage thing was it's actually a service to other sewing machine people if you can make the call to take one out of the stream. To actually strip the parts off, put the chassis in the recycle, and say, this one is done. I'm taking it out of circulation. No one is going to waste any more executive function power, brain power, emotional bandwidth on this. Like that is a service to other people if you can say, no, I have confidently sorted this one out. It is truly no longer worthwhile. I'm going to do this for everyone else. So like that's part of what you're doing here, right? Is you're saying, yes, this could have been a good machine. You're right. However, it isn't. We've gone from Schrodinger's machine where we don't know.
We don't know.
to we know now. We've done the research. We fully and completely know that this is not one of the ones that can be saved. We need to make space for the next one that could potentially be saved.
And there's people out there, and it's usually men, and they're usually retired engineers and machinists that revel in bringing those hopeless ones back to life, even if they've got to do the casting and grinding and lathing of the parts themselves. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
Right. That's someone else's wheelhouse. You've done your part. You've done your wheelhouse. And,
If this was, if it was her grandma's machine or some other really heavy sentimental thing, but this was just some other hippie living in a bus gave her this thing. Right? Okay.
Yeah. Part of your skills is knowing how to say this is the wrong machine for your use case.
Yeah. And she's physically challenged, and I don't want to give her a machine that's any hard. I mean, a 66, when I think about it, when people say, I want to get a treadle, what should I get? I go a Singer 66, period. It is the easiest to use, one of the easiest to work on, and common as brown eggs at the farmer's market.
Yeah, so that's part of the skill that you bring to it is saying, not that one, this one.
Yeah.
Just like you did at St. Vinny's. You were like, no, not that one, this one. I have the skill to quickly and correctly evaluate the relative machines here and tell you which one you need to go with.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't tie those two things together, but it's true. Getting people to the right machine, and that's the question, like even back when I used to sell new singers, when somebody would come in and just blatantly say, I want to buy a sewing machine, no sales pressure, just like, hey, yeah, sell me something. What's the right machine? And I never took people directly to the top of the line. You can't operate the space shuttle until you can fly this here Curtiss Jenny biplane from 1924, So let's start at the beginning. Do you sew? No, I'm just getting started. Okay, well, that's going to push me over to a basic straight and zigzag machine. And maybe a buttonhole or attachment to go with it. And some starter lessons. That's the thing. No, I've been sewing for a while. Do you have a trade-in? No, I gave it to my daughter. I don't have any machine right now. I rarely met people that had more than one machine back then. Now it's like, whatever. So it's like, what kind of sewing. So even now, people go, "Oh, I want to." Yeah, you've sold me on vintage machines. What should I get? Okay. What do you want to sew? And then will it sew leather? There's a whole thing about that. The answer is no. No, it won't. It will sew denim. It'll sew calico. It'll sew chiffon. It'll sew satin. It won't sew the ox harness that you're going to use to get to the Oregon Trail. I'm so sorry. It won't sew patches on your husband's motorcycle jacket. You need a Singer 29K for that. I have one. It's not working. 5 years now. I can't let it go because it's so old and so cool. But if I find another one that's newer, again, parts, can't find it. It was the first 29, the 29 UFA. And I'm missing the big spring that goes on the back that drives the needle through. And there's another piece of the cast iron that's actually broken off. Is critical. Can't be fixed. So what's the best thing for me to do is salvage any usable parts and offer them up to other people that have this machine. For instance, the whole head assembly works. The whole rack and pinion bobbin drive works. So, as my medical friend Vivian would say, it's an organ donor. You call code on that one, and it's an organ donor. Well, then what?
That's what I was doing in my sewing room the other day.
Yeah.
Last few days was just being like, okay, these things are broken, but I can fold them together and make something new out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, gosh, it'd be nice if we could do that with every broken, nasty thing in our life. And I think that's where you said it earlier. Sewing is good therapy. And on that beautiful note, folks, stay threaded.
And there you have it, a loose collection of personal sewing machine experiences that helped us feel grounded, useful, and just a little bit foolish. We talked about sewing as therapy, redirecting a thrift purchase, a machine that was literally worn out, and the very real service of saying, this machine is only good for salvage. Like I said at the top about disarticulating clothing before I need the materials, it is a real service to future projects to make those final executive decisions about if something should be repaired or scrapped. If that is hard for you, a person who knows the depth of the problem, how much harder is it for someone who can't even critically evaluate potential? Take one for the team and make that call. We actually recorded 2 episodes this week and plan to do so for the next several weeks in the hopes that we can climb ahead on the production schedule and not leave you with too many gaps this summer while various events get in the way of our recording rhythm. So I can already tell you that next week we are going to be talking about Betsy Ross, among other topics. That's right, history has mesmerized us once again. As a reminder, we are unofficially sponsored by Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. You can reach them at srvsew@gmail.com. Follow us on social media and YouTube, and you can best support us by sharing the podcast with your friends. You can even get ad-free episodes by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/used2sew. Thank you for listening to us here at Used to Sew. We always welcome your additions, corrections, and feedback in general. Please reach out to us via email at usedtosew@gmail.com. Used to Sew is a production of Fox and Raven Media. For more podcasts from Fox and Raven Media, visit our website at foxandravenmedia.com.